The Echo TV show comes out tomorrow. Are you ready? Well, we got a brand new drop list to help you out.
I don't know what that means.
Welcome back, Gainers, to another incredible, exciting, fantastic episode of ComicGains. If you're new to the show, I'm Adam.
I'm Zach, and this is the Princess Royal Highness, looking very lovely today, just like usual, doing that princess wave, looking like Electra, bow down, respect, and of course, there's a Coco dog.
Coco's here and feeling better as it should be. All right, guys. Today is Monday, and you survived the first week of the new year, and we're rewarding you with a brand new drop list. And this is a really exciting one. I genuinely like every book on this list. I really like every book on this list. And if you're asking yourself right now, what is the drop list? And what am I about to hear? Well, the ComicGains crew gets together, and we scour the internet for trending lists, hot lists, any kind of list, but they have to be 1 year ago today. And we try to figure out why these books were hot a year ago and why they might not be hot now. They all have to be lower in price from a year ago to make this list. And if you stay to the very end, Zach gives you his favorite pick of the week, and he'll also give you a pretty honest rendition of which of these books he thinks are gonna keep going back down too. So it's a good time. So come along with us. But before we do that, you got to hydrate up. And what's the best way to hydrate, Zach?
Going to Arizona. Actually, probably not. It's really hot there. But getting an Arizona honey ginseng tea looks like this.
Y'all remember that?
Might be the right thing to do. I remember a time when everybody was drinking Arizona. Now, a few people still drink it, but not as many. It's kind of like the Snapple of tea. Wait, Snapple is tea? Whatever. I'm trying to think of another one. It's like the Wired actually is a crap drink. Anyways, let me get into this. I'll think of one.
Yeah, if you're thinking that can looks a little small, it's just because Zach is so large. Yes. If that's a regular size Arizona can. Oh, make you feel better?
Yeah, the honey.
The honey, yeah.
That's smart. It's a good drink.
Yeah. Wow. You know what else will make you feel better? Hanging out with us on Whatnot every Saturday, 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. You get to hang out with Adam and Zach first. We have our show, Dollar Starts, all keys, 30-second auctions. It's amazing. And if you've been wanting to hear the princess talk and interact with you, all you got to do is come on her show at 6 p.m. And she hosts her own show where she sells her own books at 30-second auctions and Dollar Starts as well. All keys and a lot of good lady books, hip hop, Scotty Young's, all that good stuff. All right,
like a good time.
Y'all came here to hear about the comics, so let's talk about it. And kicking off the list at number 5, we have Daredevil 168 from 1981. It's Frank Miller and Frank Miller. Doing both writing and drawing.
Oh, a man of many talents.
This is probably like at the height, in my opinion, height of his career. Like the artwork looks really good. Obviously, this is one of the more beloved Daredevil stories. And this is the first appearance of Elektra. And if you look closely at the cover there, Princess will show you, it's actually misspelled. I know we've talked about that a lot, but it's kind of funny that he misspelled his own character on the cover of the book. So... so also this is also the first solo work done by Frank Miller on Daredevil, so really, really cool as well. Nice. And Elektra's a cool character over the years. You know, she started out sort of as a pseudo villain. She's died, she's been resurrected, she's been bald, she's been turned into Daredevil. She's pretty much a solid hero now with sort of that little bit of I'm willing to kill people-esque sort of character, but a really, really fun character. And over the years, she's been played by multiple actresses. Jennifer Gardner, love it or hate it, however you decide. I genuinely enjoyed the original Daredevil. It's definitely campy and goofy, but you know how it goes. And then there's the Elektra solo movie. And then Elodie Young, who was in the Daredevil TV show, who I think did an amazing job. Probably, when I think about live action Daredevil, live action Elektra, that's who I think about usually. And and we're excited. There's the Echo upcoming TV show, which we kind of touched on, comes out tomorrow. I believe originally it was going to stream on Hulu, but it looks like now it's going to be on both Hulu and Disney Plus. Be careful, it's getting that MA rating, so if you have the small ones at home, you might want to watch it first just to make sure it's legit. I hope it's down and dirty rated R, because that's what it needs to be in order to be really good. But will Elektra show up in the show? I don't know. My thoughts would be probably not, but you never know. I feel like that would be a really good twist for the end to maybe do like a female team up. She doesn't need to be in the whole show, but maybe just like a thing at the end where maybe the next show is Elektra and Echo teaming up together. Who needs Daredevil? You just have some lady power going on, right?
Yeah.
That'd be a fun team up. And
Bootylicious.
yeah, I mean, this has always been a really well-respected book. Daredevil has a few keys that are always been expensive. You know, first Elektra, first Bullseye, all these really good books that are going on. And she most reminds me of Black Cat overall. She kind of has a similar storyline. Started out as sort of a villain, becomes a love interest of the character, sort of wavers the line between back and forth, you know, has always had more of like his like girl next door love, you know, Karen Page or Mary Jane would be like the opposites. And both of the books are expensive and they both have their own solo titles and are both really cool characters. But more importantly, is it a good time to buy this book? And we may have the numbers for it. Actually, we do have the numbers for you.
Ninja Slicing Action a year ago for 9.6, $799. And now it was just American Ninja War, which is good. But you know, there's certain parts of it where you see some bad ninja action skills. And that's what happened. Now it's $660. All right, range for 9.6 is 532 to 1,197. Average sale is $779. It's a 17% drop. What I expect for a book of this quality, not dropping too much. The 9.8 prices is much closer. It's much closer. It dropped, but only dropped a little bit. It was like $100. So 9.6 is about, you know, where I would expect it to actually give real numbers, because 9.8s are holding their value very well now. Very fantastic. 9.8 sold for $2,175 last sold. All right, here, let's go into the CGC census numbers. There's 7,516 total graded. 255 of them are 9.8. That's 3% of total graded. 9.6 has 784 total graded. That's about 10% of total graded. 784 9.6s, and that's about 10% of total graded. Now, that's pretty dang good. That's pretty dang good. That's below the 25% on both of them that we want to see when going after book for collecting value. Yeah, it's a great book. It's going to be iconic. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be electrifying, especially if you spell it right. Especially if you spell it right. That is true. All right, back to you, Adam.
All right, guys, let's kick it off. We got Nova #1 coming in at number 4, 1976. Rich Buckler, Marv Wolfman, and we have first appearance of Nova, Richard Rider. And, you know, if you're unfamiliar with Richard Rider's backstory, there basically was the last surviving member of the Nova Corps, who's from the planet Xandar, got all destroyed except for this last surviving person. And on their dying, when they were dying, they came to Earth and bestowed their powers on a high school student named Richard Rider, and basically made them the new leader of the space police. Does that sound familiar at all to you?
Sounds familiar.
Kind of like Green Lantern a little bit.
Oh.
Yeah. Kind of a similar story.
Rip off.
Yeah, and it's a cool character. He has a lot of powers. He's got flight, super strength. He has speed, agility, reflexes, even a healing factor. And I think it's kind of cool at this point in 76 that they actually gave a brand new character his own solo book just to start. Like, didn't even debut him in another story. So they must have had had a really good feeling that this character was going to be successful. Take it or leave it, whether or not it was, you know, it's kind of a mid-tier character. He later joins the New Warriors and kind of gets new life going in him, and kind of goes on from there. And over the years, we've had a ton of speculation with this character, mainly with Guardians of the Galaxy. Everybody kept thinking we were going to get him, because obviously we saw Nova, we saw Xander, even in the first movie. We saw a lot of stuff going on with them where we even saw people from the Nova Corps, and we thought maybe we'd get Richard Rider. And you never know. You know, it never happened, but you never know, with Thanos destroying the planet and killing everybody, we may still get some sort of storyline that we missed, where like this one character that survived lands down on the planet and gives their powers to somebody. Is it going to be Richard Rider? Is it going to be Sam Alexander? It's hard to say. I feel like a lot of people thought they may just skip Richard Rider and go to Sam Alexander because of like the whole Champions thing, you know, like the matching up with the younger characters like a little bit better. I don't know. I personally like Sam Alexander the way he's written more. he's kind of like really cocky and arrogant, sort of similar to like Damian Wayne. They're kind of very similar the way they do stuff. Like they're really powerful and they're really cocky. But it's hard to say. Very cool book, but with the Guardians of the Galaxy basically being over, because we haven't really heard any news that there's going to be a 4, this book's definitely gone down in value a little bit, and maybe it's a good time to pick one up.
All right. It was going supernova in a good way a year ago. For 9.8, it was going for 1,332. Now, it just imploded, guys. It's not going over the nova. It's going under the nova at $1,050. Range, 960 to 1,900. Average sale is 1,260. It's a 21% drop. There's 8,910 total graded. That's quite a bit. There's 561 that are 9.8. That's 6% of total graded.
That's pretty low.
That's pretty great. It probably has something to do with how black the cover is. It shows a spine tick from a mile away. This is an interesting book, a great book, but is it an iconic book? That's the question. Only time will tell. I can kind of see from a range, but I don't really get super excited about it. Great character, great book. But will, meet the cut? What am I trying to say? Meet the cut? Will it get the devil's cut or the angel's cut? I don't even know what I'm saying. All right. We'll talk about that in the show.
All right, guys. Coming in at number 3, we've got Strange Academy number 1. This came out all the way back in 2020, if you guys remember that far back. Brilliant team put together. Humberto Ramos and Scotty Young. Doesn't get much better than that. They actually did the entire series together. Didn't waver at all. Didn't have any guests at all in there. And we're going to run down the list. This is a huge amount of first appearances, and almost all of them, pretty much all of them, really, really good. We have first appearance of Emily Bright, Doyle Dormammu, who are pretty much the 2 star characters of the team, but the other ones definitely get their due. And you have Shaylee, German, Zoe Laveau, you have Alvy and Eric, the 2 Asgardians, you have Gus Lang, Toph, Calvin, and Desi. So this book has had tons of speculation since it came out. A lot of people anticipating it's almost written to be a TV show. Like it's almost like a screenplay for a TV show, as well as being really, really good. And it's also, if you guys didn't know, the first issue actually got released right before the COVID lockdown. So they put out the first issue, COVID got locked down, and then they didn't release another issue for like 6 months or even longer than that before the second issue came out. So that's why it's kind of a scarce, the number 1 issue. A lot of people weren't at that time, weren't able to go out because people were starting to get scared, so they weren't able to go out and buy it or order it. So that's why it was right off the bat worth a lot more money. I can tell you, as a person that's read the whole series, it's amazing. Everybody should read this and check it out. The character arcs are really good. I don't want to spoil anything for you, but some people that you thought were the good characters could end up being the bad characters, and they really do a good job of giving multiple characters different arcs. It's not just the 2 main people that you see start somewhere and end in a different way. All the supporting characters have different arcs as well, and they do a really good job of showcasing all of them depending on which story arc you're in, and that's why I think it would make really good for a TV show. If they don't make this into a TV show, it would be crazy. I almost prefer it in a cartoon just because it's so out there. A lot of the magic and everything they do might show better in a cartoon than live action, but it's hard to say. You never know. I do have a bolo on this for you guys. There is a lot of variants for this book, so there's a lot of ones to go after, but the main ones, there's a 1 in 25 Ramos cover, which has some really good value. There's a 1 in 50 Opeña Breakfast Club variant, which is probably the most sought after, and there's a store-exclusive Peach Momoko Magic cover, who is a teacher at the school, is also a really good book as well. There's plenty other ones to go after it. But more importantly, is it the right time to get the Strange Academy? Because this book has been on the rise for the last 3 years, if not longer.
At a bright future a year ago, $260 for a CGC 9.8. Now it went to the dark dimension. Not so bright. $170. Range 129 to 370. Average sales 238. It's a 35% drop. There's 3,624 total graded. That's a lot for a new book. 1,981 are 9.8. So it's really easy to get 9.8. 54% of the chance. So there is a big chance for you to get a raw copy at a much cheaper price. Send it in. and get a 9.8.
You got a 50-50 chance.
Yeah, got about a 50-50 chance. Yeah, just be careful, watch the staples, look at the spine. I mean, they're very forgiving on this book. So that's what I would do. If you want this book, go out, find a nice copy, submit it to be graded, and just cross your fingers. You might just get it for like a total investment of $125.
Yeah, and there's a lot of affordable ones too, like we didn't mention, but the second print, third print, fourth print. The Scotty Young variant's actually like really affordable, as well as the Arthur Adams one too. So you can get into that book for pretty cheap.
I really like the Arthur Adams.
Amazing book. All right, number 2, and this was a battle, I think, between number 2 and number 1 for the first spot, and they both correlate to the same movie. We have Marvel Premiere 47, 1979, Bob Layton, Dave Michelini, and this was a triple threat key, which is like all the things you need to make a giant book, and it did get a little small, Ant-Man size. Which I just stole Zach's punchline there. First appearance of Scott Lang as Ant-Man. He does have an appearance earlier as just the character Scott Lang. Cassie Lang, the daughter of Scott Lang, obviously, and later becomes Stature, a pretty major character in her own right, and Darren Cross, who is the villain, Yellow Jacket. And obviously we had Ant-Man Quantumania come out last year at this time, and we knew we were going to see a new Cassie Lang in the show, and she was going to have the suit, she was going to use the powers, and she was going to shrink down, get big. I think mainly she just got big in the movie, right? Most of the time she basically was the Stature character. And we knew Darren Cross was going to come back to play MODOK in this, and we'll touch on that a little bit later. But I think it's just, it's a tough thing. We also had this Young Avengers spec on this book with Cassie Lang as well. It's just, it should be a pretty large book with the hit that movie took. And the fall of it, this book definitely took a huge drop after that. I don't know if we're going to get another Ant-Man movie. I feel like they'll try to get some redemption, do a fourth one. None of the major characters got killed off. People love Paul Rudd. He's like a national treasure, and he should definitely be in the MCU for the entire time. But just a cool book overall. And I think just between Ant-Man 1, the first one, which is probably my favorite MCU movie of all time, just a perfect movie as a whole, and I'm kind of glad they didn't use Hank Pym, because I think Scott Lang has a better story. Obviously, he didn't beat his wife, so it's better to use it that way. And everybody loves an origin story too, so that's probably why Ant-Man 1 was a little bit better, because he had a better character arc. You got to see a guy who was a thief that became a hero and saved his family, and everybody believed in him a little bit more, whereas the third movie, by that point, he didn't have much of a story arc from there. I mean, their whole thing they were going for was whether or not he believed in his daughter as a hero, and then by the end of the movie he believed his daughter could be a hero. I don't know. It's a little weak for an arc, but they could do better. What do you think, Zach?
Well, Price a year ago was growing. He was a grower, not a shower. I
don't know what that means.
I don't worry about it. At $1,299, it was selling in a 9.8 a year ago. Now, got into the cold of the boy. It definitely shrunk down to $780 for our CGC 9.8 range. $780 to $1,499. Average sale is $1,118. It's a 40% drop. There's 3,910 of them total graded. 222 of them are 9.8s. That's about 5%. Another great percentage number. So that's already telling you this book is a contender. This book should be really be considered to pick up in a 9.8 or 9.6, whatever your preference is, or raw. Just get it.
Get it. All right, guys. Number 1 on the list, and we were just talking Ant-Man, so let's go back. We got Tales of Suspense 94, 1967. Ooh, we got a Silver Age book making number 1. Ooh. Jack Kirby, Stan Lee, creating the character MODOK. This is his first appearance, a mechanized organism designed only for killing. And we had Corey Stoles reprise the role from Yellow Jacket from the first movie and came back as MODOK, which is completely different from the comic books. That didn't happen at all. the way that was, which I'm okay with. I thought that was a cool way to create MODOK and not make him too goofy. Because in the comic books, he's kind of a goofy character. George Tarleton is his alter ego in the comics. He's created through the AIM company, AIM, a lot of acronyms going on. And they basically gave him a serum to give him super mind powers. Well, he accomplished that, but at the same time made his head gigantic where his body his arms and legs and body could no longer support the weight, so he had to float around in a chair. Super, super goofy, but I didn't realize how powerful he was. He's like really, really powerful. He's so smart, he borders on precognition. He also has mental powers that are so strong that they added like a point in his forehead where he can like blast out mind lasers out of his head. Really kind of a fun character. I think in the comics he was more of a joke, but, and I'm going out on a limb here, and I know a lot of people hated MODOK in the movie. I actually really enjoyed the character. I liked him. I know his face, people thought the stretched out face was stupid and they could have done a better job. Maybe, but I thought Corey Stoll's killed it. I really liked him as Yellow Jacket, so I thought the way they brought him in as MODOK was actually kind of fun. The way that they use him. So just me, I don't think the movie overall was a big success, but I thought MODOK was cool. And when a Silver Age book is #1 on the drop list, that might mean it's a good time to look at it, because those are books that usually hold their value, and I think MODOK is a tried and true villain in the Marvel universe.
They had a big head on its shoulders a year ago at $2,300 for 9.4. Now $1,300. It's a $1,000 drop. That's pretty. That hurts.
That's how you lose money.
Range? Exactly. Your economics professor would be upset with you. Anyways, $1,211, if that makes sense, was the low. The high is $2,300. Average sale is $1,610. It's a 43% drop. There's 1,479 total graded. 6 of them are 9.8. That's less than 1%. And 38 are 9.4. That's 2%. This book is very, very hard to get in any grade above a 9.0.
Wow.
Very hard.
Yeah, we've only had one and it was pretty beat up.
Yeah.
In our lifetime. Yeah.
Yeah. They beat up like to beat up that character. Oh, that was, oof. Anyways, this is a fantastic book. Great cover.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't show MODOK on the cover, so that probably helped it out. I believe it just shows a bunch of AIM people getting beat up. So that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
I think it's a fantastic book. I think it's great. I don't think the movie Quantumania did the book any favors, though. I will say that.
Why not?
But that's just my opinion. Sometimes we're wrong. Sometimes. Very few.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Don't forget, though, guys, if you're familiar with the character, George Tarleton actually ends up dying because his organs and stuff give out because he can't support the rest of his head body. Mm-hmm. And later on in Gwenpool, they create a new MODOK called MODOK Superior, and he doesn't have any of those weaknesses. So there is multiple MODOK. I think there's even a female MODOK as well that shows up. So we could see MODOK come back in the Marvel Universe. Probably not, but you never know. You never know around here. All right, Zach. Time for your expert opinion as the slab master.
All right. I don't think really there's any real bargains on this list, besides maybe the Strange Academy, excuse me. I think the #1 book to pick up is the Marvel Premiere 47. I think it's a great price of $780 for 9.8. The one right behind that, of course, is the First Elektra. I think the First Elektra would be a fantastic one to get also. So be on your radar. But I think pretty positive the Marvel Premiere 47 is the one you want to get. The one that's going to have the highest returns.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to say like whatever books are like right below Blue Chip Keys, those 2 books are definitely like one step below a Blue Chip Key, and they should be sought after in one. So that's why I said this list is a really, really exciting list and some really good books to pick out. So as always, guys, do us a huge favor right now. Stop what you're doing in your life and hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, because that's what's going to help out the princess. She loves it when you guys do that. And leave a comment down below. Let us know what you think about this list. And also hit the notification button because we're going to go live this Wednesday. And I'm going to tell the future. If we have time to watch the Echo TV show on Tuesday, we may give our review, spoiler review. I think we should only do a spoiler-free review of Echo just in case, because that's only a couple
That's
days
only
for
a
people
nice
to
thing.
watch it.
Yeah.
But we'll let you guys know on Wednesday if you want to hear how we thought about the show. You can only watch so many episodes in one night, though. And they are releasing all of them all at one time. I know that's really bad for comics, but it may help the show out. I'm not sure how that, how that works. I believe the original Daredevil on Netflix released all at one time, right?
Yeah,
And
I
they
think
released
so.
all the
Yeah.
episodes all in one shot.
I think so.
Yeah, so anyway, Zach, anything else for the people?
So yeah, you gotta share how you do this. You have to practice one thing every single day. It doesn't have to be a lot. It doesn't have to be an hour-long thing, but you practice one thing every day. In a year period, you become a master at that one thing, guaranteed. And that's how you get those gains. Every single one.
That's true.
One.
Master of one.
Master of one. Not many. You can't be a master of many, but you can be a master of one.
All right, guys. Until we see you next time, stay safe and remember.
Get those, that doesn't sound
Master
right.
gains?
Yeah, that doesn't sound right. Get those professional gains.
All right.
Every single one.